What's going on, YouTube? All right, I want to talk about the whole issue with blacks in education. Keep in mind that I definitely sit on the fence in this issue because I am a teacher. I am in the education industry and I love it. But then I'm also, of course, African American. So I often find myself, in terms of dealing with my colleagues and some of my classmates, advocating for both sides. And it can be tough, but it's the position that I'm in. Now, whenever we talk about the lack of educational progress in terms of Black America, what pisses me off is that we start from a polarized position as if it was actual truth. And the truth, or the fake truth, is that Black America wants to do well educationally, but the teachers and the administration and all those responsible don't really care. So the whole smokescreen is, whenever we try to figure out what's going on, we'll look at an inner city school, right? And then, poor books, not enough teachers, and it's just a pretty overall whack place to be, right? And we'll try to use that as the example of what's going on. But for me, that is a reality, but it's not the whole reality, because there are other situations and scenarios going on, and this is where I defend teachers. In terms of teachers not caring, well, we created standards that we have to follow. Each state has their own. So gone are the days where teachers feel like they can stand up and challenge their kids. We've seen the movies Stand and Deliver and all that other good stuff, where they take low achieving kids and they teach them some sort of curriculum that is above what everybody expected. We don't live in that kind of society anymore. Everything is fixed. So I don't care if you go to a school in Beverly Hills or a school in Compton, right? We're all under the same standards. So nobody's learning anything different. Now, of course, we're right in terms of delivery. Well, how are the teachers delivering the material? And that's up to debate. Everybody assumes that teachers working in middle class neighborhoods and upper class neighborhoods are better, but that's not necessarily accurate. The kids have a different value. We've all had horrible teachers and we still did well in some of those courses. Why? Because our parents would whip our ass if we came home with a C or a D. It didn't matter how whack the teacher was. We had to do what we had to do. There are great teachers in some of these underprivileged, underfunded communities, but nobody speaks about that, and nobody factors in that there's a lack of value in terms of education, right? I'm not going to get into why, but it is what it is. African Americans as a whole, don't value education as a tool to change their situation. They'd rather rely on, singing, rapping, selling drugs, running with the football, or dunking a basketball. That's what we would, rely on. And how I advocate for my teachers is that I look at some of the schools that I'm at in California. If anybody is from California, especially Southern California, you know how crazy it is. You can have $1 million homes, and in 5 minutes you can be in a high crime area. That's how it is. So of course the radius or the distance between those types of communities aren't that great. So what happens? Well, these kids are going to the same school. So you have situations in Southern California where you have rich kids and you have poor kids, but everybody's getting the same education. Everybody has the same books. Everybody has the same teachers, right? Everybody's going to the same classroom, so it's not like the poor students are segregated from the rich students. It doesn't happen like that, right? The school has to do more because they want to accommodate for their upper and middle class students. They don't want them to transfer and go to a different school. So in a way, the lower students tend to benefit. But still, some of these students don't do well. I went to a high school that kind of fits this, example. And at the end of the day, it was only me and a couple other people who graduated, and the rest, didn't do much. And, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Like, the black community, we want to polarize every single issue. but we don't value education. We don't. Because, of course, if you are on the side in terms of the black side, what are you going to use? You're going to use schools that are just decrepit, that are, down and out, not enough books. And I understand. Your point is valid. Who would do well in a school like that? I wouldn't even want to teach there. I don't like the school that I'm at now, but luckily we're moving to a new campus, which is beautiful. But just the whole environment, can just suck the life out of the students and the teachers, right? There's no hope. If there's not enough books, there's not enough desks, kids are sitting on the floor and all that other good stuff. Yeah, who would care? Who would care? Right? And what are they going to say next? If you give us the right tools and the resources, I guarantee you'll do well. Well, we already have those scenarios. Like I said before, there are schools that still have black students, and based off of the geography of, the region, you have a mixture of all three income classes. So let's look at the black students there and let's see what they're doing. And you'll find that they are still underachieving. Or they are not using that opportunity to their best ability. Why? Because the value isn't there. You can't factor in the teachers, because the districts probably pay well because they want to keep some of their good teachers. So what can you do? What can you say? At the end of the day, we can't avoid the whole issue of not valuing education, right? There's a lot of problems in public ed. I don't want people to, automatically assume that I feel like the teachers and the administration are just perfect and it's everybody else, because that would be almost too biased. But at the end of the day, I understand what's going on in terms of African Americans in education, but there is no explanation in terms of blaming it on the other side in terms of why you don't value education and why you don't feel like it's a tool to change your situation. It is what it is. It doesn't make any sense to me, because it's easier to become a doctor than it is to become a drug kingpin, right? You don't advance through degrees, you advance through, taking somebody out. It's easier to become a doctor than it is to be in the NBA. It is what it is. Same thing with music and all that other good stuff. Yet we put so much open to that as if it's easier for us to do it, and that's the easier alternative, when actually in reality it's the harder alternative. So I know I'm gonna hopefully get some good responses to this one. Take it easy. God bless.